My question, is, my career has stalled, and there's kind of it's created a financial urgency, and feeling bad, I guess, at that stage.
Well, we were appreciating the words that you offered as you began about my career is stalled out, because energy is always in motion, and there's no such thing as anything stalling. Nothing ever stalls. That's really an important place to focus. Nothing stalls. So if you want to go that way, and nothing ever stalls, and you're not going that way, what do you think, just from your understanding of physics, if you want to go that way and you're not going and it feels stalled out, and the energy never stops flowing, then what do you logically understand is happening?
It's impatience.
Well, no, but just
sorry.
it's all right. It's
Yes.
all right. It's all right. We just want you to focus upon just the concept of momentum,
Yes.
and stalling. And if you accept the accuracy and truth of the law-based premise that we are presenting to you, and you accept that energy isn't stalling out, it's not stalling out. So just think about it. You want to go that way and you're not going that way. Why? Because you're going that way too. In other words, you're offering that, and you can feel stalled out for a long time. I want it, but just stop the but. I want it. The stall stops. It's the attention to the opposite. It's the attention to the opposition. And it is because, just as we presented before you got here to the hot seat, it's just exactly as we were describing it. It's that your attention is upon the manifested what is, instead of upon the energy what is. And if you can just for a little while not care. Now we know you say 4 years, it's been a little while, and now it's urgent, so I don't have the leeway. And we say, you got no choice. You have no choice, because if you keep doing what you're doing, you keep getting what you're getting. So you got to do something different. So you might as well not worry. Well, that's easier said than done, isn't it? But the worry is the evidence that you're doing this, which is causing the stalling. So can you accept that? Does that make logical sense to you?
Yes, because when I start the momentum forward and I stall,
let's use a different word. When I allow the momentum forward.
Yes.
Rather than start. In other words, you're allowing the momentum. It's not a strong action. You're allowing it. You launched those rockets and you got that momentum going. Hear this, all of you. This is the best thing you're ever going to hear from us, at least today, at least for the next 5 minutes. You take too much credit. We love you very much for the momentum that you've got going, because you were complaining when you launched most of that. In other words, you didn't get the momentum going, most of you, by sitting with a clear mind and dreaming. You really were irritated about that, and you launched that rocket, and you were irritated again, and you launched it again. You were irritated. You get the momentum of what you want going by knowing what you don't want. In other words, often, not always. But so that momentum is really going. So let's just use the word. Can you pick up where you were now that we've carried on so much? The momentum is going because it's natural. So the word, rather than I got it going or I started it going, just use the word I allowed it, because you can allow more.
As I start to allow it and I start feeling good, and I'm not trying to fill my own grid in, I'm just in a moment and I'm thinking about security, and I just keep repeating the word, and I'm starting to feel really good. And
the word security?
Yeah, feels wonderful.
Does it?
Well, it's wonderful to contemplate the feelings of it.
When does the word security come to your mind most?
When you don't have it.
So how are those thoughts of insecurity working out for you?
Um,
Stalled.
Actually, when I can get going with the thoughts of security and actually really believe it, I actually do feel really good.
We know you do. We know you do. We're just pointing out that there are some vibrational differences, and sometimes you think you're doing one thing when you're actually doing the opposite of what you think you're doing, because you're using a word that means something to you, but the frequency of you in the moment isn't there. What do you think about the comparison of the words security and ease? Just compare the feeling of those words in your mind, because certainly there's security and insecurity, and there's ease and dis-ease, or there's ease and stress. But the word ease, doesn't it sort of put you in a more general place of allowing?
Yes.
So, continue.
When I'm going with the momentum forward, and
because it's strong and I was out of the way of it, and now I'm being swept in it, so
yes.
It's easy to do that.
Easy, yes.
I'm feeling the ease of that momentum.
And people around me are responding, and I say, wow, this is great, and everything, it proves that all your teachings are true, because it's phenomenal how people will give way to you on the street. But the first thing I notice is the people around me in the shops, in the neighborhood, and it feels really good. And
what is it? Is that pretty easy for you to expect?
Yeah, it is at this stage, yes.
At this stage.
Yes.
So that wasn't always easy for you to expect. But but because the stakes weren't that high. In other words, parking place, not so important.
Yeah.
Nice people in the shops, not so important. So it was easier to allow yourself to stand in a grid that allowed that. This is exactly what we were talking about as we were beginning here today. This is the conscious beginning of the molding of the clay.
Yes.
So as you repeat those things over and over in your mind, you practice the ease of that. In other words, I see what Abraham means about the universe complying. I see what they mean about the pieces filling in. I see what they mean. Our favorite story lately is, see this stage as a giant electrical board, and there are little LED lights all over it. And you represent one of those lights. And you've got something going on in your mind right now. Doesn't matter what it is, wanted or unwanted, happy or sad, doesn't matter what's active in your vibration, but whatever it is, your light lit up. And now, every other light on the board that is that vibrational frequency lights up too. And those lighted lights represent your world. So you're like this potential offer of a vibration moving around through crowds, moving around through thoughts, moving around through universal forces. And you've, for whatever reason, got something going on vibrationally, so there's your signal. Everything that matches that signal lights up around you, becomes active around you, and represents your world, you see.
Yeah.
And unless you stick your nose in places that it doesn't belong, which is every place that's not like it's only the lighted world that represents you. And of course, the analogy, like every analogy, is not perfect in the sense that there's a lot of lights lighting up, and law of attraction is rendezvousing a lot of people. And because you got a lot of things going on, you light up with a lot of different things. You light up with the happy ones at one part of the day, and the ornery ones at another part, and the frustrated ones at another part. In other words, you got a lot of stuff going on with this light board, which is the world in which you live. But you have so much more easy control over it than you know if you would stop being a knee-jerk reactor to the lighted lights and the way they're behaving, and instead you would focus on what light you're going to light today. How are you going to feel? How do I want to feel? You see, you would work on your grid. You like that?
There's something about wanting something so much that you push it away. And I think you were talking about that on the Alaska cruise. And I think for sure, when I'm starting to go with my flow, let's say, other things start happening for me that I haven't asked.
But you see, this is what
Yes.
we're talking about as we say, the fun. If you want the manifestation of it so much,
Yes.
then the whole time, in all that potentially joyous time of unfolding, you're miserable and stalled. But if the manifestation is just part of it,
Yes.
but the journey along the way is the bigger part of it,
Yes.
then you're not unhappy. In other words, Esther's favorite thing that Jerry ever said was the day she broke everything on the beautiful shelf. Dusting, shelf crashed through, broke the Yadros and the Sabinas and all the beautiful little pieces that they'd been gathering around Baccarat crystal. All the beautiful little things were on that one stupid shelf. And Jerry heard the crash and said, "Don't move," because he knew Esther was in her bare feet and that she was standing there with glass all around her. And he came in and he began to laugh and he said, "Oh, good, something to want." No loss about what had gone, because that's the way. Oh, good, something to want. Oh, good, something to want. Not want it, not I want it so bad it hurts that I don't have it. Oh, good. Something to focus upon, something to give me life force, some reason to focus, some reason to pay attention to what I'm broadcasting vibrationally. Oh, good. Something to make me be aware of what light is lighted up. Something to use as my excuse to achieve a vibrational stance that is going to bring me so much more than that one puny thing could ever bring me. You see, an excuse to line up and allow the universe to show me my worthiness, its power, the power of the universe, and the goodness that surrounds me. Something else to do that, you see. So we're touching on this important piece that most humans don't get, and you're probably going to get it in the next few minutes. All of you are probably going to get this, because what we said before and what you've said since is bringing us to this important understanding that if the manifestation of it, which is inevitable and in the future somewhere, if it's the goal that is giving me the reason to line up, but having lined up is the reason for the life force that's flowing through me, then don't I always want not yet manifested goals? Oh, you really do. And the bigger they are, the better they are. Because a lot of people say, "Oh, I wish I didn't want that because I felt so much better before I wanted it. Now I want it and I don't have it, I'm miserable." And we say, but wanting it gives you the potential of focusing, and it gives you a reason to recognize what you're doing vibrationally. It gives you a reason to understand who you are, an opportunity to watch the cooperative components of the universe, an opportunity to understand the leverage of alignment, the fun of that clarity, you see. Because you come into this physical body and you don't bring any stuff with you, and you're going to leave this physical body, you're not going to take any stuff with you. So the whole point of the stuff was just so that you'd have something fun to focus on, so that you could feel the energy flowing. That's why we think it's interesting as we visit with our physical friends that in the beginning they often roll their eyes and want to leave. The doors are locked, however. They roll their eyes and want to leave because they don't want another airy